How could we connect every 2 devices on this planet with a private, end-to-end encrypted, reliable connection? I guess that's what the team of iroh was asking each other, because that's exactly what they built. And I think it's super interesting. So today we're just going to look into that. IP addresses break dial keys instead is what iroh says on their website. And I think that's super interesting because, yeah, IP addresses can change. You can take your phone, have a connection to another peer-to-peer device, go out of your Wi-Fi, out of your local network, go to cellular, and you have completely new IP addresses, and your connection broke. And iroh is solving that by just using dial keys instead. And they use this to gracefully establish connections between any 2 devices that can run iroh. And I think that's super cool. It really reminds me of multi-peer connectivity in a way, but globally, like via the internet, instead of just proximity-wise in your local network. So I think it's a really cool project. And it makes me really excited to build with P2P again. I looked into some peer-to-peer stuff before when I was in college, like 10 years ago, and it was really hard to work with. You needed to set up turn servers, but it wouldn't always properly work, and so I got frustrated and stopped working with it. But seeing this now makes me really excited. Last weekend, I already played around with a little toy project just to test how this could work. Basically, everything you need to establish a connection between 2 devices is you need a ticket ID from one device, which is just a random string. If the other device has that and both of these devices are online, they can establish a connection with each other and then connect via multiple streams together. And these streams are super cheap. You can create as many as you like. The project is still pretty young, which is a little bit unfortunate because that means the SDKs are not super stable yet, but probably stable enough for the stuff that I would build. I saw that they already have a bunch of supported devices. So they say extra Apple here. They have a Swift SDK, Rust SDK, JavaScript, and so on. I'm not going to go into everything of it. Yeah, here they have a code example where you can see it's pretty easy to set up. You just need to connect to an endpoint and then the remote address, which I told you you can get from the ticket. And then you can just open bidirectional, monodirectional data streams and then keep writing them, reading them. Super easy. That works super reliable and insanely fast. I was really shocked when I built my little demo project. Probably not going to show this here today, but yeah, maybe in the future. Let's look more into this. So as I'm super interested in Swift because I want to build for macOS or iOS, they have this Hello iroh FFI project because they're using this iroh FFI project where they use the Rust bindings that they have and then plug in other languages to use those Rust bindings. So they did the same thing for, I think, Kotlin. They did it for Swift. So it all uses their Rust library underneath. So it's like a very stable foundation. They even have this Hello iroh FFI project, which is a SwiftUI demo to live stream positions between devices. The 60 hertz, which is pretty cool. So it is pretty much real time and it feels like absolute magic. I tried it out. You can leave your Wi-Fi, you can use your mobile connection. It just keeps going. It is really, really cool. For me, I was also interested in how they handle this whole turn thing. There was a problem with P2P. So you need like a relay in some scenarios where you cannot do proper net traversal and hole punching. And they solve that via relay servers. They offer a public relay server that you can use for development, but they want you to either use a managed one from them, which costs a little bit money and keeps the development going, or you can also completely self-host one yourself. I can't find it right now, but I looked into this. It is a single binary built from Rust that you can just deploy. And the clever thing here is that they use the default HTTP ports, so it should work on every network, no matter what kind of network restrictions they lay upon you. So yeah, you can set this up for your own project and then self-host the relay or use a managed one. I think it's very elegantly solved. Yeah, this server is absolutely stateless. There's no database, no nothing. It's really just a single binary without any dependencies running. It's really cool. You can set up multiple relays for automatic failover. You can set it up in multiple cloud environments if you want to have it like really resilient. And scaling it is also pretty cheap. Another thing I found pretty interesting about it when reading the iOS documentation is that it seems to not just use your internet, but also your local network. So if you have two devices in your local network, you can establish a direction directly without having to go through relay or the internet, making this really, really fast. They also already built a bunch of protocols on top of it because they focus on iroh as a single connection layer between devices instead of offering a lot of services on top of it. But they have already established some protocols. So they have this iroh blobs that you can use to synchronize storage and data transfer. They have a CRDT solution for documents, and they have a topic-based broadcast message system they call Gossip, and then another auto-merge document sync. I know they have been around since a couple of years now, but they recently reached their 1.0. And I'm really excited to see where this project is going. It makes me really want to build with peer-to-peer again. I hope I can play around with it soon.